Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Forman. Today we have Real Team Rider with us, Bree Young. Bree, welcome.
Thank
you for joining
Happy
in. And also one of Bree's biggest fans, Banyan Young, is with us in the background. So if you hear any kind of giggles, cooing, maybe some laughs in the background, that is
no cries.
Yeah, Banyan on backup vocals. So Bree just got back from Puerto Rico. And she had a great time down there. She went with a Christenson Ultra Tracker and also a Christenson Myconaut. And so we're here today to talk with Bree about her Ultra Tracker. Bree's Ultra Tracker is 7.0, 21, 2 3/4. And as we've talked about with this board, they are very, very thin. So 2 3/4 is only literally about where this skull logo is in the board, like forward and back and also rail to rail, and every place else it's getting quite a bit thinner than 2 3/4. So it's a very low volume board, like for the length and also like for those dimensions that you're seeing. So Bree, tell us about like the conditions that you were surfing in and a little bit about the performance as well.
Yeah, so I got to surf this in a variety of conditions. The first day I got to Puerto Rico, it was well over head high and glassy clean. It was perfect board. Getting back into surfing after just having the baby, getting my feet under me, and then towards the end of the trip, it was really small. I'd say there's one day I surfed with maybe ankle high, really tiny, and I was still able to get into some waves and kind of cruise on it. So, and then conditions in between that, big head high and really tiny. I thought it was a great overall board.
Nice. So like one of the things that factors in, like when you're in Puerto Rico, I mean, sometimes you luck out and there's no wind.
Yeah.
Right. But a lot of times there's like kind of pumping trade winds, especially this time of year, like in the winter. So how, and I know a lot of times on like shorter boards or even short boards in general, like it kind of kills the momentum. It's like really hard to keep the boards going in that kind of wind. So what, especially when you're going into it, on those lefts. So what, how did this thing feel with the wind and with the bump?
Yeah, I was actually really surprised at how well it handled in the wind. It still felt really smooth, easy to get into. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And then what about like the sizing? 7.0 normally feels like a bigger mid-length for you, but how did this thing feel?
So because it's so thin, it was definitely lighter.
Okay.
And then I thought that I was able to cruise on this a little better and control it more than the thicker, not the Ultra Tracker, but the...
Like a sea bucket. Something that's
yes.
got more volume, like out to the rail. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like what we talked about in the review with another one of our team riders, Cody Craig, is just how thinned out this thing is. So if you look at the foil on it, part of the design is it does have what's called a step deck, where you have the thickness through the chest area, and right about here, you can really see the board thin out from here forward to the nose. And then also the rails are really thin, and the tail is really thin as well. So Bree, it works if you're in Caribbean blue water, right? But what about like and a bikini or board shorts? But what about when we come back to reality? Like come back to like winter, 5 mil wetsuit, brown, black, and gray, water with some like a side of gray in the background. How's that thing feel at home?
I actually had so much fun surfing this year.
Okay.
That last fall that we had, about 3 or 4 days of surf, this was the go-to board.
Right.
Out of all the boards I packed in my truck, from my step-up board down to my fish, this was the one that I had the most fun on. So it handled really well. And all 3 of those days were different.
Yeah.
The first day was super clean, big, fast. And then the rest of the time the size dropped, but it was still consistent. And this held great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cruisy.
Ultra Tracker from Christenson. Again, this one is a 7.0. And the fin that we used on Bree's board is an FCS Christenson 7.5 inch fin. And on those smaller ones, like when you're going like 7.2, I would say 7.2 and smaller, 7.2, 7.0, 6.10, the real small ones, you can go with that 7.5, and then on the bigger ones above that, you want to go with an 8 inch or an 8.5 on the really big ones, like on the 8.5s and the 8.0s. So that's the Christenson Ultra Tracker. If anyone out there has any questions about Ultra Trackers from Christenson or would like to place an order either for a stock Ultra Tracker or a custom order that we can write up for you, you can always call us at the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.